Hey buddy, watch this.
Hello, Regis Kilbin is the name and Hearthstone is the game, and this is a deck guide on my Kobolds and Catacombs budget token Druid. And when I say budget, that's something I truly mean. This deck costs 1,000 arcane dust or less, so this is a deck that's truly designed for people who are playing on a budget. This is not for long-time Hearthstone players who have all the cards. This deck is designed for beginners, growing players, people coming back to the game, people who are free to play. And this deck is not designed to take you to Legend. This deck is only really designed to take you to something like rank 15, maybe rank 10 if you play it a lot, make a few minor upgrades, learn the ins and outs, and you address it and kind of adapt it towards the meta that you're seeing. Now, if you're not familiar with the idea of a token druid, you might also call this an aggro druid, but token has been the traditional name for this sort of list. And essentially what this deck is all about is playing a lot of very small, very cheap minions onto the board as quickly as possible, and then utilizing buffs from the Druid set, things like Mark of the Lotus, Power of the Wild, and Mark of Yasharaj in particular, in order to build upon that super fast, early, aggressive board, building wide boards of minions. So, you're looking to have 3, 4, 5 minions out at a time, and then just start to build upon them and leverage them, of course, for tons of early damage, and then also utilize them to do finishing kills with things like Savage Roar or Swipe from hand, so that you can just really overrun your opponent and create so much pressure that they just don't have the time to answer it all, and they die while you're just punching them with repeated minion damage over and over again. And essentially, every card in this deck is either designed to play out minions onto the board that are hard to deal with, or alternatively, leverage those minions via additional damage. Now, most notably in Kobolds and Catacombs, this is the era of this deck. We've got cards like Dire Mole. This is a fantastic card for Token Druid because it is a beast, and it's a very hard to kill 1-drop, so it works beautifully into things like Mark of Yasharaj in particular, but also just sets up for great Mark of the Lotus, Direwolf Alpha, Power of the Wild turns as well. On top of that, of course, we also have the Fungal Mancer down here at the very opposite end of the list. This is another good finisher style card. Now, traditionally, you'd run something like Living Mana in a Token Druid list, but that is an epic card. We'll talk about that more in the upgrade section of this video. But Fungal Mancer is another one of these cards that's sort of like Savage Roar, almost like a board buff like Power of the Wild or Mark of the Lotus, that just gives you an instant infusion of tons of damage. So it's 4 extra damage, basically. Not to mention, of course, some extra health as well, which makes your minions even more resilient and might give you an extra turn or two to push some additional damage. On top of that, we also have the card Cursed Disciple. Now, some people might think this one's a little bit weird to see in a token list, but the great thing about this minion is that it has 2 pieces to it, right? Since it is a death rattle, your opponent essentially has to use 2 different kinds of things to answer it most of the time, outside of like a Defile from Warlock, for instance. But usually they have to run 2 minions in, or ping it and trade, or use two different cards to answer a single thing. And that's really important because that essentially means you're slightly more likely to leave it around on the board and then turn it into even more damage or even more health with Mark of the Lotus. So that 1 health here that's normally a huge weakness isn't quite as bad in a deck like this, where you can consistently buff minions' healths via all these other buff cards in the deck. Now, beyond that, of course, there are a few other things that might look surprising to you in an aggressive deck, things like Crypt Lord and Druid of the Swarm, which would traditionally be seen as more defensive cards. But the great thing about these is that high health total, once again, and in the case of Druid of the Swarm, it is also a beast, so that's great for Mark of Yasharaj. But those high health totals can do a couple things. First, they can just ensure that you have minions laying around for your Fungal Mancer and Savage Roar plays, but it can also just protect other assets, things like Direwolf Alpha, for instance, which is one of the more important cards to keep on the board, can help protect those from value trades from your opponent, essentially. Now, the final few pieces are essentially Spellbreaker here, which just helps you get through taunts because, of course, you are looking to do face damage. You can't deal with big taunts in this deck without just silencing them, ignoring them, and just hammering your opponents. And then Swipe can also sometimes help you with through taunt damage, essentially by going over the top of taunts and just drawing into that damage you need to kill your opponent, essentially, that extra little push. You could also use it for removal occasionally, but most of the time you'd want to use it for face. So, all of that said, which felt like a lot, that essentially summarizes what this deck is all about, why you're seeing the cards you're seeing. So what I'd like to do now is talk about how we can upgrade this list, because I know you guys always want to know what cards are next, how can I turn this into something like an intermediate deck instead of a budget deck. So let's go ahead and talk about some upgrades to this budget token list. Now, when it comes to upgrades, I already teased probably the most important one, the primary one, which is Living Mana. And this has sort of been a foundational card for Token Druid ever since its release in Journey to Un'Goro, because essentially sometimes in Token Druid your opponent just answers everything. You get some chip damage through, but eventually they just kill your board. They play a Hellfire or a Duskbreaker, and all of your stuff is gone. And Living Mana is the perfect card to just completely reload. Say, okay, you killed that wave of stuff, now can you kill 5 or 6 additional 2/2s? And if they can't, and sometimes they just can't, then that means you get to hit face even more. You might get to play another Mark of the Lotus off the top and buff your Living Mana for just insane follow-up damage potential, and that's why it's such a good fit for Token Druid. It's just that backup plan, and it works so darn well in this style of deck. But of course it's an epic, so it's hard to play in a budget deck. That said, if you're looking to play Token Druid and upgrade your list, this is absolutely the first place to start. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly what card to replace. I mean, clearly, Fungalmancer might be a pretty good fit, even Cursed Disciple as higher curve cards, but ultimately what you should do is not try to go card by card necessarily. That can be okay, but really you should just go look at a complete, full, non-budget version of Token Druid, and you should compare your cards in your list to that list and see what's not included in a full list. What can I swap out that makes sense? What can I improve? What cards might I be able to piece together some dust for to start shaping this deck into a real deck? Me just giving you a card-by-card replacement is not going to get you to the ultimate goal, which is to play the full version if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, maybe you just want to play the budget version and move on to something else in the future. In either scenario, you shouldn't be going card-by-card necessarily. So to help you with that goal, I've actually included a couple different versions of Token Druid deck list in the description below. You can see exactly what a full version is supposed to look like and then cross-compare your deck and that deck and figure out the different pieces. And that way you can use some of your own judgment, your own play style, your own free will to decide instead of me hand-picking and guiding you down really narrow paths that might not suit your collection, your dust availability, your play style, etc. It's going to be a better experience. Now, moving back into other upgrades that I think make sense, another one here, conveniently right on the first page, is Bittertide Hydra. Much like Living Mana, this is sort of that perfect follow-up tool. And although this isn't always a last resort like Living Mana, this can just be that big bomb finisher on turn 5 that once your opponent has just excruciatingly dealt with everything else, you can just drop Bittertide Hydra. And sometimes they can't answer it. It hits face for 16 damage over a couple turns, wins the game. It's also got those beast synergies we've talked about, which are really important. And the downside here is just not relevant. You don't care if you take damage. You're looking to win games fast. Your life total is almost completely irrelevant as long as your opponent's is going down much, much faster than your own. So Bittertide Hydra, another good inclusion. Another card you might consider that I've seen in a lot of Token Druid lists lately is Vicious Fledgling, if we can find it here. I know I can type it in, but it's more fun to click. Vicious Fledgling, again, a beast. Pretty clearly, that makes a lot of sense. This is one of those cards that you can just play on 3. Sometimes it will absolutely outright win you games on its own if your opponent can't answer it, because it just snowballs into absurd amounts of pressure and value, particularly when you can get Wind Fury and just adapt over and over again. This thing becomes a complete, absolute monster, particularly with Mark of Yasharaj. Once again, a 5/5 Vicious Fledgling is really, really scary and really difficult to deal with once it gets adapted a few times. So that's another kind of core card for Token Druid. Now, beyond all of those, one other way you could potentially upgrade this list that I've seen with some play lately in the Kobolds and Catacombs era is Murlocs. So you could, if you have a lot of Murloc cards handy, swap in a Murloc set, essentially, you know, just Murloc War Leaders and Finja and a few of the other kind of board-based Murloc cards. Again, I have a list of a Murloc Token Druid in the description below. You can look at that and see if that maybe fits your playstyle better. But that's a different, similar playstyle, but a different direction to go for the same kind of deck. And you'll see that there's a lot of similar cards, even in a more Murloc version of the list. Now, all that said, I think we've talked through the upgrades and the key cards that you can add in to improve this list. Of course, there are more, but again, look at the full list for those. We've certainly talked through how to play the deck, so now, of course, what we need to do is actually see the deck in action. And I have some pretty good games here recorded. Now, keep in mind, we're going to lose a few early. I'll spoil it now for you in this video, but the deck does find some wins. This thing is quite competitive, even sub-rank 10, which is an awfully good sign for a budget deck. So let's go ahead and jump into some gameplay of my Kobolds and Catacombs budget Token Druid as it was recorded live on my Twitch stream. Oh man, I thought I was like super cool and unique, and it turns out I'm just moderately cool and particularly ununique, particularly regular, particularly just average. No, I didn't think we had anything. I didn't think we had anything too exclusive with the pink square. I think it's okay. Drug Shogun says, I've seen you on YouTube a ton, so it was a huge surprise to get hosted. Well, thanks, man. That's sounds like a compliment, I think, somewhere in there. I appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by and showing your appreciation. Honestly, surprisingly, you know, of everybody that we raid, only about half actually ever say thank you. Like, tweet at me or come into chat and drop a sub like you, like, went above and beyond compared to most. Which is honestly fine. I don't care if people thank me for the raid. Completely don't have to do that. I'm not expecting anything. Just doing it out of kindness. There's really nothing in it for me. In fact, I think it's a little risky for me to do it sometimes. I'm not even a huge fan of raiding necessarily from a business standpoint. I just do it out of a kindness standpoint, of course. But even not everybody comes and, like, says thank you or, you know, seems all that excited. Which I think is weird. I know if I was getting hosted by a giant, well, not a giant streamer, but I am not a giant streamer, but if I got hosted by an even bigger streamer than I am, then I'd be pretty darn excited and appreciative. Not to say I am giant, because obviously that's not the case. But it would take a giant streamer to host me. I'm getting too deep. You guys know what I mean. Hey, AK No Lifer, how's it going? Thank you for the kind words. Hey, Ian Wilbur. Hey, Blocka. I said that already, but you may not have been here yet. Hope you're doing well, man. Looking good with the Golden Regis. You got 3 Silver Regises and only 1 Golden Regis. I don't know about that. I feel like you need to mix that order up a little bit. Go the other way around. It's gonna be good. Hey, Drew's Cross. Add Milhouse Manastorm. Definitely always a good change. Always a good change. Lord Nova says, hi, Regis. I see we're going with a budget deck. Nice. Yeah, this is a budget token Druid. We got off to a pretty good start, but unfortunately, Shadow Word Horror was particularly good against us. So now I think we lose. I don't see how we're gonna beat a big priest here. As soon as he gets a taunt down, we are just absolutely dead. Is Living Man an epic? Indeed it is, yeah, it's impossible pretty much for a budget deck to make it work.
Welcome, boys. Make some
And Shadow Word Pain. Wow.
Evening, fella.
So we just don't really have a big reload like you're supposed to have in this sort of deck, right? You gotta win on your first push, really, in this particular budget deck, which is not ideal. There's a reason Living Mana is important and Bittertide Hydra are important for Token Druid, right? So this is, I think, one of the weaker budget decks I've had to make for the Kobolds and Catacombs set so far. Just because it really needs to win on its first push. There's no reloads, there's no coming back. You just gotta get a good early board. That's probably why I put Stone Tusk Boars in here, because I realized, like, they're just minions and damage and pressure right off the bat. Oh, I literally just missed an attack. Whoops. New patches. I'm pretty much conceding this game already, because I feel like we have no reason to continue, but did I already get the deck tracker up? Oh my god, it's been working on its own lately. It's so surreal. Here, just to get you guys the pink. Here. What happened? Oh no, I just put up an epilepsy warning before I do, like, the pink dance rave move. Great draws here. It's weird he got Ysera. Like, we're actually in a good position almost. A Savage Roar or something would have put me in the game. Have you ever played Wild? Not a lot, Venom. We actually played some Wild yesterday. We're going to play more Wild for the Wild Fest stuff that's coming up. No doubt about it, so. Did you see the guy's reaction last night, Regis? He was blown away. I didn't. No, lately I haven't been able to watch as much as I'd like when I do the raids. So I didn't see it. Was it Drunk Shogun we raided last night, or was it somebody else? I can't remember the names. There's been a lot at this point, so they're all blending together a little bit. Hey, Ghost Claw, dude. How's it going? Also, Metters, I forgot to say. 3-month resub, Metters. That is awesome, dude. Metters. Thank you for the continued support, Metters. That's actually outrageous. Congrats on your blue gem. Thank you for all the love, dude. So Savage Roar here would only put me at 9 damage available total. Razorfin Hunter, definitely not going to get us there. It's funny, he hasn't actually drawn many taunts. Stone Tusk Boar. This card would actually be amazing if this had charge. Imagine how much better Razorfin Hunter would be if the boar had charge. That'd be awesome. You are a giant, Regis, just not in viewership. Man, maybe old dessert with the fat jokes over here. with the fat jokes. X-Saba says, hey Regis, I'm glad I can catch your stream for once. I'm always at work when you're on. Hey, I'm sorry, dude. I wish we lined up better, but I'm happy you're here. Thanks for stopping by. Serious delay between the video and chat? No, it's not really a delay. It's just me. I'm behind. It's not a legitimate delay. I'm just behind on chat's all. I remember you rated one person, won't name them. Okay. I don't know where this is going, but it sounds like drama. She just talked about how she doesn't raid because she doesn't like the system and the notifications are bad. It's like, how about saying thank you and leave it at that? Yeah, I don't know who that is. That's sad. I wish I knew who that was. But yeah, it's fine. Like I said, I don't actually care if people thank me. It just surprised me how few do. I don't know if that I don't know if that makes sense. So in other words, I don't have expectations, but just I would think that people would. I'm sure that doesn't make sense. I'm going too far down a rabbit hole here. Hey, Cripperino, love the misplay spam. And well, we're just simply spamming misplay itself. Also adequate. Good morning from an Englishman in Japan, says Magic Blokey. Well, good evening from a American in America. So exotic. I've decided to take the host as a sign that I should invest more time into Hearthstone. But again, seriously, thank you so much. No problem at all, Drunk Shogun, dude. Thank you for dropping by and saying that. That's kind. Hearthstone can be a wonderful tool if you use it. It can be a great way to get a following, for sure. Alright, we are close to having a good board and good setup here, but we'll see. I'm not convinced this deck is actually good yet. There's the pink spam. There it is. Well, thanks for being so excited, Drunk Shogun. It sounds like chat really enjoyed you. That's always a good sign. You rated 7-Foot Fiend last night. Yeah, I remember that name a little bit. I think he tweeted at me. So another one who was very thankful, which is always nice. Beautiful beard. Thanks. Hey, Reese, I have enough dust for a couple legendaries. What are some must crafts? Man, I'll tell you what, I feel like that's kind of changing lately. I have to do this, as bad as it is. I can't do this yet, it's just not worth it. I need to get more minions, I think. This will actually help me protect my board some, so that's nice. I might just go face with this one. Just go here. Nah, I'm gonna go there. I just hate that Jade Claws deals with it so efficiently. We're losing. This deck's bad, I think. Are you sure you want Razorfin Hunter in this list? It has an absolute trash win rate for it. Tell me the replacement, Tingus. What's a better 3-drop for a budget token druid that causes 0 dust? That's the challenge, right? It's not that I want any of these cards in these decks, right? Like, I would vastly prefer better cards, but I don't know what's better. A 3-drop that has a 0 mana or 0 dust cost that you would prefer. Because this is not even a common card. This is a basic card. It's totally free. Every budget deck basically has to have some basic cards in there to make sense. That's why Swipe's in here. Stuff like that. It just has to be in there. Stone Tusk Boar, basic card. There's just not a lot of great alternatives. And I need it for the 3-drop sake too. And it summons multiple bodies. I think it's okay, but it's just, it's a budget deck. It's hard. When you only got 1,000 dust, you just have to work. Who was that? Redbird Axe with the 3-month resub and the tier 2 sub too. That's right. Wow, Redbird, thank you, man. That is fantastic. I really appreciate it a ton. Oh, Healing Totem is actually really good against us. Ah, no. Also, this trade is annoyingly bad. Again, just our deck has just got challenges. Let's put it that way, right? The deck has challenges. Even this is not an exciting play. This trades into my 7-2 here. I should have played this over here, because he's clearly going to kill this, so I should have put the Flame Elemental over there. Makes more sense that way. We could probably still roll in some trades, but we may not be able to, actually. Because this is obviously the target. No doubt about it. It's like someone is holding open a door for you so you can walk in and you say thank you to that. Say thank you for getting housed. Yeah, I agree, Drunk. That sounds like a good analogy. Completely. I literally tapped the word commander in chat and not in my Hearthstone research. I didn't even see that. You literally just typed the word commander in chat. I missed it, huh? Have you heard of Exodia Shaman? I think people have talked about it a few times, but I still don't actually know what it is. What the heck is this deck? This is supposed to be a budget Druid, as the title would imply, but right now it's a garbage Druid. It's just a total garbage Druid. Oh, please get a bad card. That alone is amazing, honestly. Let's say, yeah, you can just stop there. That's all I really needed. Say, what do I want here? Mark of Yasharaj is actually fairly good, I think. These do 6 when they roll in, so unfortunately swipe doesn't really help a lot there. I'm probably gonna have to kill both if I want to swipe anyway. I could trade in the Direwolf Alpha for a cleaner line, but then I still can't really kill the Flame Tank Totem. Ugh, this is just awful math. If I didn't mark, I guess I could have hero powered this. That might have been the cleanest path, but we're just losing again. I don't know. We're just losing again. This is just not gonna work. A 5-5 is not enough to win the game against 5 cards when we top deck like garbage. Maybe that's why I put Bone Mares in here, is to make our endgame a little stronger. Maybe that was the logic instead of Fungomancers. I don't know. Like I said, it's been a while since I made this. I'm not loving it. Firelord says the same thing. But like I said earlier, the whole plan is with this kind of deck, it's like, look, we can't run Living Mana, we can't run Bittertide Hydra, we can't. They're beyond our budget limitations. So you gotta win on your first wave. If you don't win on your first wave, you lose. So running expensive cards doesn't really help, because you still just lose. Like, they're not good. It's not like you're running some crazy high-end, high-powered card at the end, so it doesn't really help. So why bother disrupting your potential early game snowball, right? Because basically, if you want to run those Lighthouse cards, that's a card you're drawing early that may disrupt your curve. It might risk your actual only win condition, which is just steamrolling opponents. But again, it's just not strong enough.
Regis 2 times in one day, 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. Woohoo!
Jehovah, that's right, man. Thank you for the 100 bits. I appreciate it. And 2 times in a day, 2 days in a row, in fact. And it's going to be a 3rd day in a row on Wednesday. 3 days of 2 times Regis? Wow. Crazy, crazy stream schedule. Alright, this looks like a good opportunity to maybe win a game. Let's see. If not, I may have to shelve this deck. I'm not enjoying it. It feels really bad. We got a good curve here, though, so this might be our chance. Let's see. Rogue is also a class that sometimes has challenges dealing with a super aggressive early board. So let's see if we can actually initiate the game plan here. Snowball our opponent out. Go for the kill. Get a board buff maybe for turn 3. Probably playing this on 2. Would love to do like this plus Mark on 3. Maybe even this plus Power of the Wild would be fine. That would be what we need to win. If he starts backstabbing and... Well, I can't kill that, so... So much for the plan. I've never felt so deflated in my life. There it goes. Just like that. Just like that. What do you think the new expansion will be announced? There was some suggestion on the Hearthstone Twitter today. They did like a little like Magic 8-Ball kind of thing or something with Kobolds and Catacombs, and I think somebody asked, will we see the new expansion in February? And the answer provided was yes, you will. So that's pretty crazy. That implies we're going to see the new expansion announcement this month. I had it slotted for like March 8th or so.
Cheeseburger.
you know, cheeseburger. Such an insightful addition, Mike thinks. Every time. My favorite cheerer, without question. What an insightful, beautiful, insightful comment, Mike thinks. Man. So much insight there. How can I handle all that insight? I just can't handle it. Oh my god, I did it again! I can't. Every time I forget that Stone Tusk Boar is a charging minion. It's because it's so bad that you shouldn't be playing it. That's why. I have no, you know, like you build up these structures in your brain that help you like go through muscle memory kinds of things, you know? I've never built those up for Stone Tusk Boar. It took me 6 months to learn patches, you know? Finally patches I attacked every time by default. Took forever. I got there, though. Stone Tusk Boar, I guess we're never getting there. I guess it's just not gonna happen. Oh my god. Stone Tusk Boar. That's gonna make a big difference, too. That cheeseburger gets me every time, says Blocka. No joke, man. Same difference. It's so just every time out of nowhere, seemingly. We might actually be able to win since he's drawing us so many cards. Like, this is one way I could do it, because normally we don't have that. Normally we just have no cards. For once, we actually have a handful of cards. It's kind of cool. Oh, that would have been a good one. It's kind of sad. Because we have swipes for, like, burst damage, too. So, let's try to stick one of these boards. I don't have any way to lock out the Kingsbane, though, once it gets going, so we need to end this sooner rather than later. But if a Savage Roar's coming, we got the double swipe for damage. I'd like some buffs. There we go! Finally! You dropped the Vanish, too, so he might have a second one. We don't really know, but... There's the Leeching Poison. That's not good. That makes all weapon buffs terrifying now. Okay. Spellbreaker I don't think mattered a lot. That's fine. Do we buff this turn or wait? I think we're gonna wait one turn. And we're just gonna see if he vanishes this or not. I'm gonna go ahead and kill this in case there is a vanish. I just don't want to have to deal with another Cold Light. We have enough cards now to win, I think. Do you think that they'll finally give you a card reveal? No, I've never talked to Blizzard. They don't know I exist as far as I can tell, so I doubt it. Unless there's just somebody who found me. I have not tried to accomplish that. There's a small part of me that kind of likes being an outsider now. For Blizzard, that is. Well, we can obviously kill that. Can also do a lot of damage. That's 4 mana. This is 4 mana. So let's do both of these things. For all I know, we might have lethal. I don't know. 6, 10, 6, 10, 16, 19, plus 4. That's why we run Stone Tusk Boar, I think, guys. Hey, we did it! We won a game! Turns out, if your opponent runs Cold Light Oracles, you win games. That was pretty important. Now I got some motivation to try again. I want to see if that actually just works. Let's see. You hate Boar, and indeed I do. New expansion is going to double down on the RNG with a 10 mana choose one. Deal damage equal to twice this minion's attack to random targets, or cast 10 random spells. Oh boy. The ultimate RNG fiesta is what they'll call it. Stone Tusk Boar should say, "I'm in charge now." Yeah, you're right. I need the trigger. I need like the memory queue activated. That's what it'll be. The answers on Twitter were randomized. Seriously, they were just totally randomized. It seemed like they weren't that random. It seemed like some of them were targeted. I feel like they get themselves in trouble totally randomizing stuff and saying yes to things that aren't actually yeses. That seems a tad risky. Kind of like this into this. Let's do it. Then we got the turn 3 and then the Lotus to follow up. Let's do it. Ryu just needs a compilation video of every misplay phase. That's a lot. It's going to be a long video. Something has been hours and hours editing all my misplays together. That doesn't sound like a fun job. Budget Priest here. Let's see. For Dragon Soul, Yeah, I mean, it looks about as good as it can as far as I can tell, right? You got the Auctioneer shenanigans, you got Divine Spirit Interfire for stealing wins, but I still think it's going to suck. And I don't say that as like you failed. I mean, I think you did a great job putting this together. Or whoever put it together did a great job. It's just really hard to make Dragon Soul work. It's a problem. But this looks like a solid core list. Doing as best as it can. YouTube has a time limit of 24 hours. Get out of here, Disguised American Toast. Rude. Rude. Congratulations for attacking with Stone Tusk Spore. Man, imagine if we'd been one off. We would have missed lethal that turn, right? Like, because we forgot to attack with the Stone Tusk Spore. New expansion should have legendary spells. I'm hoping Hunters is play and activate all secrets in your deck. Glacial Mysteries for Hunter. B-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-M. John T. Sobel, dude. That sounds funny how she didn't actually say boom. But thank you, John T. Sobel, for 7 months, man. That's crazy. That's awesome. I really appreciate it, John T. Thank you for the love, dude. 7 months is a really long time. That's awesome. I think 8 months is the max right now. So you're right there on the bleeding edge. Appreciate it. Thank you for the continued support. Hey, 7 Foot Fiend. There's our other hostee of the week so far. Well, actually, there's been 3 hosts already this week, but 7 Foot Fiend was one of the ones, I guess, from last night, probably. It's good to see you, dude. I hope it went well. Hope you enjoyed the raid. Let's do it. Let's go.
Boys, make some room by the hearth.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Another 7 months here. Woohoo.
Pugbite 28 with 7 months too. Wow. Take everything you just said for John T. Sobel and repeat it for yourself, because I'm too lazy and or forgetful to actually say all of that again. Seriously though, Pugbite, thank you, man, for the super kind 7 months. That's totally incredible. Wow. Thought I was safe here. I guess not. Screw me, right? So let's see. We have 10 plus 6 is just lethal, right? Cool. And there we go. Again, you gotta win on the first wave of this deck for it to make sense. The more I'm playing it, the more I'm remembering this from making it. Like, this is a wave 1 winner. There's no reloads. You gotta just draw well. Which is not good. That's bad for a, this is not supposed to be a tier 1 deck. This is not a legend deck. This is a budget deck meant to get to rank 15, right? Like, that may not be your interest personally, but that's what it's designed for. That's what we're playing it for. It's for people who don't have dust. People who need to find a way to play Druid, have Druid cards laying around, want to complete their Druid quest if they're a lower ranked player, if they're getting started in the game. They need basic cards. This is the kind of list that can win them games. It's not always going to win games. It's not supposed to always win games. But occasionally you steal games like that. And that's why it works. That's why it makes sense. Oh, man. This draw order is complete garbage. Guys, look! Whoa! Am I seeing things right?
Welcome. Boys, make some room by the hearth, won't ya?
What? Is that... It's not... That minion is green. He's green! We can attack with Stone Tusk Spore? What?
It's not easy being green.
It's not Stone Tusk Spore, it's not. What does charge mean? I'm learning the game right here. Reeves, I'm going to sleep. CMRC. Andre, dude, thanks for hanging out. Of course, appreciate it a ton. I can only think of one place you would see my name. Do you ever watch Loser Fruit or other Overwatch players? I don't. No, I have to say. Oh man, we're gonna get counterspelled, but I don't care. You too. I don't really watch much Overwatch drunk. I don't have much time to consume content. Honestly, I'm mostly making it. I have a real job on top of Twitch and YouTube, so I'm pretty much always just doing something. But if you got something you want to promo, by the way, or I don't think you're going that way, but just on that note, feel free to feel free to share anything if you want to plug somebody else or a channel you're part of or whatever. It's not a problem for me. Well, that's game. We lose. We totally lose. 7 Foot Fiend says, how long have you been making YouTube vids? Man, since August of 2015? So, like, almost 2.5 years. But I didn't really start doing it seriously, I would say, until, I don't know. Oh, if only I had some spell to test. We're gonna lose anyway. We can't come back. Like I said, if we don't win in wave 1, we lose. We missed our 1 drops. We just don't win. This game is over. We could maybe buff his stuff to make it go a little faster. Could try. We maybe should have played this on 2 as a minion, now that I'm looking at this hand. I played the Stone Tusk board because it was playable, but I think this would have actually been much better. It still would have lost us the game because... Well, actually, no. It would have been a 4-4 after the Mark of Yashiraj. Maybe not. We couldn't coin it, though, so... It's debatable. It's debatable. I think it would have been better regardless, but I don't know if it would have made a difference. This guy's just got a god tier draw so far. Oh, I missed a sub. Tevos, the Sloth. I didn't actually miss it. I saw it, but I forgot all about it. There we go. I spotted it, guys. I spotted a good place. Tevos, dude, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub 3 minutes ago. I'm bad. We had too many in a row. Welcome, Tevos. I think you've been a sub before, Tevos. I feel like, anyway, that you have been. So welcome back, probably. And thanks for the continued support, dude. That's awesome either way. Certainly a name. Happy to have around chat, so appreciate it. But I think I started making YouTube videos about 2.5 years ago, but I didn't start seriously until, like, probably League of Explorers or right thereafter, so probably about 1.5 years seriously. I think Whispers of the Old Gods was the first expansion where I really felt like I knew what I was doing and was trying to put out good videos and really focus on it and make it into something. And then I don't think it really started getting popular, honestly, until Unguro. That's when my card reviews started taking off a little more. So about 1 year of actual, you know, kind of YouTube success, I think. Is he going crazy? Secret Mage is really good right now. Yeah, definitely. It's high tier 2 deck for sure. Really, it kind of feels weird calling stuff high tier 2 when it's just aggro and Murloc Paladin that are really tier 1 right now. So everything is kind of tier 2 because they're so far above, I think. But I would almost call Secret Mage tier 1 if I was just talking about it on my terms. Should have played what? I'm not even paying attention, guys. I'm not even. I'm just playing cards. I gotta pay a little bit of attention. You forgot about me, breaking my heart, Tevas. I did. I'm sorry, man. I broke your heart. I'm honestly a terrible person. I deeply apologize. See, I really goofed here, guys. I really goofed. We could have played Mark of Yashiraj here, cleared that, and been in an incredible spot. It's just bad. It's just bad Hearthstone. I'm not really paying attention. Sorry. Zroxium says, hey Regis, today it was 5 degrees warmer than normal, so I took the opportunity to take some pictures. Here's the best one I took. Shocker. Didn't use Photoshop. Oh, I saw this in Twitch, dude. Looks nice. Beautiful. I think that's Photoshopped. I'm calling Photoshop. Just kidding. It looks really good, dude. I'd like to wait on this, but I don't really think I can. I think we gotta go. Hopefully we hit another one. Hopefully we hit another one. Have you heard of the quintuple evolve combo? No. That sounds crazy, Cyclone. Describe it to me. See you, Ed Wilbur. Thanks for checking out. Thanks, 7 Foot Fiend, for the kind words. Just signed up your tourney. Nice, Callum. I have not yet done that. Despite it being called my tourney. I don't actually know if it's mine or not, for the record. It's certainly being organized under my name on my behalf, but it's mostly the mods handling it. I don't really have much oversight or control over it, but I will be participating. I just gotta sign up. I don't even know how to do it. I honestly just don't pay attention. I let them tell me things. I have sort of the benefit of laziness there. Like, I could just be lazy and kind of know that I have a spot and stuff, so I don't have to worry about it. So hard to figure out how you got your name. Yeah, I know, right? The logo and stuff doesn't give you any clues. It's a shame. Yeah, we're gonna keep going face, I think. I don't know that he's going to have great ways to clear this. He might. We'll see, I guess. We'll see. I mean, we've played this game terribly, and we're still in a really good spot, which is kind of hilarious. It's very unusual. I just realized Oakheart can pull Alec here today. Yeah, it's crazy. It's cool. Disguise American Toast with a YouTube video. I'm not going to be able to watch this. Ooh, I like it, though. I think I've seen this before. One last taunt to get through. It's interesting he didn't kill this one. That's more total damage. He just left me with lethal on board, right? Well, maybe not, but this certainly will seal the deal. Played terribly, still won. No justice in Hearthstone, guys. But that should tell you, if you're bad, if you're a beginner, if you're playing this deck, you can play terribly and you can still win games. That's a good sign. That's a good sign that I played like a just absolute moron and still managed to win. Sometimes just having cards is good. Sometimes drawing cards is good. If you're still kind of skeptical of Kobold Hermit, it just won me 2 games in a row. I am still skeptical, yes. I'd like to see data. I trust your anecdotal evidence to some extent. I'm glad it's working for you. I do believe you. I don't challenge your assertion that it won multiple games, but I just can't hardly believe it. It seems so bad. It's going to need to be drilled into my brain over and over again. You're going to have to continue to report your successes before I believe it. It's Murmuring Elemental Evolve, Coin, Shaman, Death Knight. Ah, I see what you mean, yeah. I have done Murmuring Elemental into Shaman Death Knight before. That was pretty cool, I have to say. That was a lot of fun. It was one of the earlier decks I built. It was really cool. Just getting the 4x evolve, essentially. Super fun. See you, 7-Foot Fiend, dude. Thanks for hanging out. And I'm glad it seems like the raid went pretty well. That's most games in Hearthstone, though. What's most games in Hearthstone? I missed it. I don't know what we're talking about. Oh, see, this time we had Mark of Yashiraj, we'd be so happy because we played the right card. Is this the same guy as the previous game? It's not, actually. Okay, so we don't really know his deck yet. We'll see. We certainly don't have as good of a hand, though. These cards are, if these were both Mark of the Lotus, I'd feel okay. Oh, Dustbreaker's bad news. Oh, that's bad news, Bears. He did coin, though, so we have a turn. Oh, we have a turn. I'm still going to need to hit the other one, though, because Dustbreaker's still coming. It's still coming. I got to hope for Savage Roar next turn to win the game, I think, guys. We have 1 turn before Dustbreaker. These only do 10 damage per turn, so I need to double that damage with Savage Roar, essentially. He could kill one of them off, so even Savage Roar at this point, I don't think it's guaranteed lethal. I really need, like, another Mark of the Lotus to put these above 3 health. Only one thing right now is above 3 health. Oh, God, you know it's coming. You know it's coming. I can't even afford to, like, try to keep this alive after a trade. I just have to go face. There's just, everything is dead. There's not even really an incentive to play this. I maybe shouldn't have played it. Maybe I should have just hero powered and try to get this out afterwards. Oh my God, no Duskbreaker! That's an incentive to play it? Holy crap, holy Magoli. Holy Magoli. Holy Magoli. Give me a card to do damage. Please, God. That's not a damage card. I have 9 damage. No. Gotta keep going, though. At least we can get through a taunt with Spellbreaker. That's good news. Swipes off the top are also a lot of power, so let's see if he drew Duskbreaker in time. He could trade here and then Duskbreaker, but his board is clear. He's at 2 health, even if he does that, so... Shadow Visions. What is he going to get off Shadow Visions? Can he get a lethal, maybe? I don't think so. He probably can. He's only got... Yeah, he can. He's got the Radial Middle, so... We could be dead. Mass Dispel is too slow. That's plenty of damage. Plenty of damage. No way. Oh, Tintin's fine. He needs that mana for the other Divine Spirit to threaten us. Woo! We are rocking people right now with the Token Druid, guys. We are demolishing people. We have won 4 of our last 5 games with this Token Budget Druid. Holy Magoli. And there you go. That was the budget token Druid. Clearly, it can win some games. It can just run over people as it's designed to do. And that's a pretty fun way to play and a really good way to ladder, too, because your games typically go really quick. Win or lose, that means you're multiplying your wins much, much faster than if you're playing a super slow deck. So you can really start to see the gains and climb your ranks very rapidly compared to more control-style decks, essentially. All that said, of course, guys, I've played a ton of games. If you have thoughts, comments, questions on those games, leave those in the comments below. I'm sure the community will have some answers or maybe even more questions on your questions, but you can find a lot of guidance from all the great Hearthstone players watching and commenting on these videos. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, game on.